We are here this morning on the last day of school, which is Friday, June 25th, 2021, at Intermediate School 171, also known as the Abraham Lincoln School. And we are culminating a 7-session event discussing a very important subject. And the book we used is by a distinguished scholar, Mr. Glenn Singleton. The book he wrote is called Courageous Conversations About Race. And to my left, I'm joined by the distinguished, newly minted Dr. Indira Mota from Columbia School of Teaching, and the principal of this wonderful school, where I've been privileged to work for about 50 days. And with that, I just want to say thank you. It's been an honor. And I learned a lot. So let's start our conversation. It's going to be a brief conversation about the importance of this book and what you and I and all our colleagues have been able to discuss.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. And I just have to say that it has been a pleasure to have you join our school community, and the fact that you have completely immersed yourself in all of our activities and our opportunities for learning. And I have really enjoyed listening to your participation in each of our meetings, and I know you've contributed to the wealth of knowledge and experience everyone has shared. So I'll just provide a brief context and background. We created an equity team here about 2018-19, and that was the result of some school discipline data that highlighted disproportionality between student subgroups here in our school, and it really opened our eyes to what was happening in our school community regarding the way students of color receive disciplinary measures. And so, under the work of many school community members, such as Mr. Singleton, Ms. Cavalieri, Ms. Lisa Watson, Ms. Margie, Ms. Peña, the list goes on and on, that really took ownership of this equity team, we've been able to really focus on ways to shift and eventually destroy that disproportionality, but really open the door to talk about what is happening regarding the education of students of color. Despite our school community being almost 95% made up of students of color. And so after some leadership meetings and opportunities, it was suggested that we pursue this book study, Courageous Conversations. So that is where all of this came from, and with our small group, but yet powerful group of book study members, we've had the opportunity to have such fruitful dialogue and learning opportunities where people have been able to voice their understanding or their moments of things that were not clear, but we've learned from each other. So I am going to share what is most memorable to me after all of our gatherings, and that is one of the points throughout the book that guided this really understanding and this study, and that is exist in discomfort. This is not an easy topic. And it really does take braveness and courage to be able to pursue this conversation. Because I noticed that after every meeting, the conversations were deeper and richer about this topic. But yet, every time we ended the Zoom meeting, there was still discomfort for me. So accepting that is what I took away from this experience. How about you, Mr. Livianu?
Very profound statement. Thank you. As you know, I'm also an immigrant. and growing up in New York City made me aware of the contributions of all the different nationalities, over 140, I think, last count, that live in our wonderful metropolitan area. This book, I think, comes at the right moment, and I can say that the universal, timeless idea of equality, fairness to every human being in today's society is at a point where we have understanding, better communication, desire to change things from top to bottom and from bottom to top, and to give the next generation, our young people, the right tools, social skills to continue this work. I don't think this work is going to end with you and me and this school. This is an ongoing process, and just like democracy is a living organism, so is equity and fairness amongst all people. So I've been deeply touched by these 7 meetings that we had, and I thank you for allowing me to be part of this exquisite group of people and great educators. And I have to say that I am at an advantage. And that is, I think I learned more than I was able to contribute. So I remain humbled by the experience, and I promise to balance my output and provide more insight and help and continue learning. And I think with that, we might be ending, as the beautiful melody suggests. And thank you again, and I hope we can continue these conversations with Dr. Mota.
And I want to applaud and give a huge shout out to all book study participants. It was an amazing experience, and I cannot wait for the work to continue next year. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Wonderful.